Magnum Packet Patriots, can you dig it? You're watching the Tap Rack Bang Show. I'm Ryan Frazier riding shotgun. With me, as always, is the tactical tackle himself, Tyler Witzke. Tyler, you crazy old Polish person. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing terrific. As always, we invite all of our viewers to be a pro-gun bully today. So if you want to antique Sleepy Joe Biden, go ahead and hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and smash the bejesus out of that Liberty Bell to sound the alarm of freedom every time a Tap Rack Bang Show drops.
Don't forget to visit all the links down in the description. We got some good stuff down there. Petitions, sign-up forms, membership forms, all that kind of stuff. And shout out to our friends at Vortex. Yeah. They sent us some stuff to review, and so stay tuned for that. We're going to have quite a few videos on that.
A lot of fun toys we get to
play
with. Because we're
Absolutely.
legit YouTube celebs and people send us things.
I guess.
Moving up in the world. Look at us.
Woo! Woo! All right, what do we got today?
Today, spring is here and summer's coming, and in the political world, that means that a lot of the state legislatures are wrapping up. And back in the winter times in February, we had the director of field operations for the National Association for Gun Rights come on the show, Mr. Brenden Boudreau. You all know him. You all love him. And he kind of gave us his predictions for how the constitutional carry fights at the state level would go this year. And he's back on the show to tell us exactly how they went and see if his predictions came true. So let's go to Brenden.
Here to set up field operations!
All right. Hey, Brenden, welcome back to the show.
Thanks, guys. Good to see you.
Good to see you. So we had you on back in February, and we were talking about the prospects of constitutional carry in 2022, and you said you would be happy if we just get one. How did those words pan out for you?
Well, I guess I should be pretty happy because we have 4.
Yeah. Holy cow. Yeah, we were looking back at 2021 is the year when we got 5, and it was just seemed like, we'd never even get close to that again, and like without even expecting it, you guys go out and get 4. How'd you do that?
Yeah. I mean, back in February, I was really a Debbie Downer because we were in the midst of it, and the establishment was the political establishment was fighting back hard. I mean, there was so much feet dragging in Alabama and Indiana and Georgia, Ohio. Unfortunately, we lost it in Nebraska, but Nebraska is proof that, well, they just can't have nice things because they have a unicameral legislature and
agreed,
nonpartisan and all that nonsense.
Totally.
But in those other states, we're talking about Alabama and Indiana, Georgia and Ohio. All 4 of those states had large Republican majorities, and Republican governors, and they could have gotten it done in a couple of weeks, but they decided to make it drag out as long as possible just to test my patience and test the patience of gun owners nationwide as we were waiting for that.
Yeah, for sure.
And there was just in Alabama we had obstacles with Republicans. In Indiana we had one major obstacle in State Senator Liz Brown, who was a Republican who did everything in her power to try to kill the bill as a Republican who had her name on a constitutional carry bill. Unfortunately the establishment gun lobby came in, more so in Alabama and Georgia, and just provided cover for Republicans to do bad things to good bills. There's no reason why they couldn't have passed. I'm not sure if you guys have covered it or not. The bills that passed in Alabama and Georgia are constitutional carry bills.
Yep.
They are not the best versions. They were not the bills that we worked with our legislative allies to get filed in those states.
Sure.
The establishment gun lobby likes to go to the their favorite political puppets. Actually, it's the other way around because they're controlled by legislative leadership. Legislative leadership takes whatever pile of crap bill they want passed and goes to the establishment gun lobby and says, this is what we're going to pass. Are you going to give us cover for it? And that's what they did in Alabama. They rewrote the bill, added gun control to it. And then we're like, oh, you guys are okay with this, right? And of course we got to be the turd in the punch bowl, and and now they're screaming at us because we're attacking some of their favorite political pets in Alabama. who had a hand in watering down the bill. And then right after constitutional carry passes in Alabama, they work on advancing gun control to the floor. And apparently we were just supposed to look the other way.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, just take our ball and go home.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd mentioned Indiana, and we talked about in the last show that that's a state that you've been operating in for most of your adult life. How does that feel for you to finally have that one done?
Yeah, it feels good.
Yeah.
It took a while. It took much longer than it should have.
Yeah, you bet.
Before constitutional carry passed in Indiana, their laws were not awful on carry. Their permit's pretty cheap. There's no training requirement. You have to give go be fingerprinted like a common criminal.
Yeah.
But the carry laws were pretty lax. So, I mean, that just goes to show you that after years of compromise, the establishment there was just like, well, we already made it so easy. We'll just make it free. And they actually did make it free. They made the permit free instead of just passing constitutional carry. And that just goes to show you the incremental approach is atrocious. And it's a problem for the gun rights issue because the establishment thinks, oh, well, we gave you enough bread. You don't need the whole loaf. We'll just give you 3/4 of the loaf. No, we're talking about restrictions on the Second Amendment. We're talking about restrictions on gun rights. Yeah. And no one should be forced to jump through bureaucratic nonsense to practice their Second Amendment rights, period.
Yeah, I mean, no matter how easy you make it or cheap you make it, the word permit and the word right don't work. It's like, oil and water. They don't mix. It can't be a right if you're required to have a permit for it. Exactly.
Right.
Simple.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and it's like herding cats with these people.
Yeah. Well, and the crazy thing in Indiana is that you had super majorities.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not even close. And yet, when constitutional carry passed, you had, I think, all but maybe one Republican in the House. I'm having a hard time remembering now. But over in the Senate, where their majority is 39-11, you lost like almost 10 Republicans on it. Mm-hmm. Like, what are those super majorities proving?
Yeah,
not much.
Absolutely nothing right now.
It's because they feel safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another big one went down this year was Ohio. Like, talking population wise, that's almost as awesome as Texas. So is Governor DeWine like full on gun rights champion now or what?
No.
Just had to trigger you there a little bit.
Yeah, no, DeWine was a good old gun control advocate during the 90s. And he's no friend of gun owners, but
of course.
We talked about this, I think, last time. Elections are a great time to put pressure on politicians. And Mike DeWine was facing a primary to his right, and he couldn't be bad on constitutional carry.
Yep.
He had to sign it unless he wanted to lose.
Yeah.
And that's just the political reality in Ohio. So, it's hard for me as a Michigander to say that I would have more rights in Ohio and Indiana than I do in my own home state. And that the Buckeye state has more freedom than Michigan. It just, it pains me.
Sting, yeah.
But I mean, Ohio, we're talking about, that took several decades to get done there. I mean, when they still were a May issue state, State Representative Ron Hood was filing what was then at the time Vermont style carry because Vermont was the only state in the union that had no permit requirement, to talk about how long it's been going on in Ohio. And unfortunately, Ron wasn't there for it to become law. But still, it's a legacy of a long battle.
Oh yeah, his fingerprints are all over that bill, and it probably wouldn't have happened this year had he not laid the foundation back in the day.
100%.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So enough good news. We bring you on the show, and we need some good Debbie Downer action. So what went wrong in Nebraska? You mentioned.
Yeah, Nebraska's a weird state. When I first started working for NAGR in 2014, I was assigned Nebraska, and I just looked at this state. I'm like, what is wrong with this state? They abolished their House of Representatives during the Progressive era, and they went to a unicameral legislature. I mean, I'm of the mind that Nebraska should not be a state; it should just be a territory for that reason. But yeah, I mean, it was just one of these instances where on paper Republicans have the votes to pass it. You know, they're a non-partisan legislature, but everyone knows who belongs to which political party. Yep. And you just basically had a couple senators at the end there flake out. They voted for it initially. There was like 3 or 4 stages of voting. They voted for it earlier, and then all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, I can't do that because law enforcement's going to hate me," which is just a convenient cover.
Yeah, I was going to say is mainly law enforcement in Omaha and Lincoln that were against the bill and kind of swayed some of those people.
Unions too, not ranking law enforcement.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
not the cops walking the beat.
Yep.
Well, and that was kind of the stupidity too that was going on there, where we had the bill sponsor who was trying to add an amendment to his own bill that would have codified into state law Omaha's pistol registration requirement.
Absolutely stupid.
And somehow that was going to make it more tolerable to pass, which honestly just ticked everyone off. Yeah. You actually had the urban Democrats who were like, "No, we don't want that because that's trash for our constituents." And then you had the conservatives say, "No, that's trash." Yeah. And then, of course, you know, the law enforcement brass were just wanting it because it's a tool to fight crime, quote unquote. And it muddied the water. Yeah, it was a horrible idea. Every gun rights group, except for the local group, realized it was a dumb idea. Yeah. And of course, you know, we were being accused of just trying to raise money. We don't like Nebraska. We're not making bank in Nebraska. We're spending more in Nebraska to try to pass constitutional carry than we're raising there. And
Absolutely.
But of course, every time we try to, you know, break someone's awful toy, we that accusation comes out.
You want to know how to get rich? Let's go run a massive political program in Nebraska.
Yeah, actually. Yeah.
Go ahead and make the down payment on our private jets today.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, four out of 5 is pretty damn impressive. We didn't quite match 2021, but this time of year, legislatures are for the most part wrapping up, but there's still some potentially on deck, but not looking great. What can you tell us about Louisiana?
Yeah,
I know is one.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, you know, 4 out of 5 is fantastic.
It's amazing.
You know, I would have loved to have the 5th one. I mean, this just continues to prove that constitutional carry is the new normal in the gun rights community, and that gun owners and gun rights activists across the country expect their lawmakers to support constitutional carry.
Absolutely.
It's no longer enough to just support shall issue. It's no longer enough to support getting rid of gun-free zones. It's no longer enough to, you know, to have an A+ rating from the NRA.
Sanctuary state.
Yeah, or sanctuary state, which in most instances is just garbage.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, so it's really just further proof of the power of the gun rights community, and you know we're able to tap into that with the tactics and the tools that we use. You know, so looking at for the rest of the year, Louisiana, there is a bill moving forward there. It passed out of the House. It's over in the Senate. You know, we could easily do a flashback to what happened last year. You know, it got passed to the governor. The governor vetoes it. Goes in a veto override session. Republican Senate leadership does nothing to whip their senators into shape. I mean, we dropped tens of thousands of pieces of mail on the Senate, and we had calls rolling. We had social media ads. We had a lot of pressure building, but we had, you know, the governor, John Bell Edwards, buying off boats with promises for political appointments or stuff in budgets and the sort. So that kind of undermined our efforts. There's a chance that maybe after the veto override session, we dropped an anvil on them again.
Sure.
You know, for their betrayal.
Yep. They got a care package from the Tap Rack Bang show as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, and you know, there was it was just voted out of committee in the Senate today, and one of the senators who turned around and voted against it in the veto override session after having voted for it earlier, all of a sudden voted right again. So I don't know if he's just trying to, you know, clean his skirt, or if you know, he's actually had a change of heart and realized that, oh, maybe I shouldn't vote against the Second Amendment. That was a bad idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, that's pretty much it. You know, we're rolling into primary season. Obviously, actually, we're halfway through the election year almost now.
It's crazy.
We've got big primaries in Michigan and Florida coming up. We're trying to get recorded vote on constitutional carry here in Michigan, so that gun owners can know where their elected officials stand on this issue ahead of the August primaries. Michigan is one of these states where, along with Wisconsin and Pennsylvania, where all we're waiting for is a governor. If we can get a governor, we could, in all three of those states, we could have 3 more constitutional carry states. We also have South Carolina primaries. Those are actually happening in June, where we're holding a few state representatives' feet to the fire for voting against constitutional carry, or inconsistently voting on constitutional carry last year. Unfortunately, South Carolina, there's no excuse for South Carolina not have passed constitutional carry yet. No. But that's the last Afghanistan that we really have right now, where it's just, we've been working on it since 2012, but somehow strong Republican majorities and Republican governor can't pass constitutional carry in South Carolina.
It's bananas.
It's pathetic. And then Florida, of course, is a wild card too. I mean, that state's exceeded expectations this year, with Governor DeSantis saying that he wants to get it done before he's done being governor. In Florida. It doesn't look like we're going to get it this year, but he gets reelected as governor. We get a new makeup of the legislature where there's no longer 67 A-rated Republicans from the NRA who voted for gun control. Maybe that gives us a better chance to pass it in 2023. So.
Yeah, that would be huge, coming off of just a few years ago, that massive gun control package, to completely come full circle and add a huge constitutional carry state.
Oh, yeah.
Man. Anything else, Tyler?
No, I think you covered all the bases. Congrats again on 4 constitutional carry states this year. Your team has been kicking butt, and looking forward to more in 2023.
Yeah. Thank you, Tyler. Thank you, Ryan. Yeah, and not just thank you to gun owners, our supporters, and donors for the National Association for Gun Rights. I mean, they give us the ammunition that we need to deploy a program that helps put heat on politicians to force them to do the right thing. We wouldn't be able to do it without their support. And I know they're excited about the potentials in 2022. It looks like it could be a good year for us. And we're getting to this point where I don't think we're going to have many years where we're going to have 5 or 4 constitutional carry states, just because the slimmings are starting to get picked. When you when you pass it in 25 states, it's all of a sudden like, where are we going to go next? Oregon?
Yeah,
let's do it.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, the easy ones are definitely all but gobbled up for a few last standouts, but just to double down on what Tyler said, good job. And like we like to say around here, can we have some more, please?
We'll do our best.
All right, we'll see you next time. Thanks, Brenden.
Thanks, guys.
Here to set up field operations.
All right, good stuff from our good buddy Brenden Boudreau. Should we dive right into a t-shirt time now?
Hell yeah.
It's t-shirt time.
It's t-shirt time.
Last week, we asked our viewers what the top-selling pistol in the United States in 2021 was, and I tell you, a lot of folks weren't right on this one. I thought this would be kind of a gimme.
I agree.
But people thought that the SIG 365 was number 1, and not quite. I don't even think it was number 2. But number 1, you should have gone with the old trusty, tried and true Glock 19.
Absolutely.
I think all the other companies have been trying to unseat it for years, but it just continues to sell like hotcakes.
The gold standard.
It really is the gold standard. You can't go wrong with a Glock 19, even though it's not what I carry. It's not what you carry.
Nope.
Respect to all the Glock guys out there, because they just freaking work. But at any rate, Mr. Herc North was our winner. He answered Glock 19 and left a Magnum packing comment, so he won himself a dope ass Hell No Joe NAGR t-shirt just like this one. So pay attention to your comment, Mr. North, because we'll be reaching out to you to make sure we get you your shirt.
It's going to be styling and profiling.
Styling and profiling.
Also, he bashed the Euro trash.
Yeah, he also bashed Euro trash,
Yeah.
so kudos for that too. I dig it. That was a solid comment. So if you want to be a winner like Mr. North, be the first to answer this question in the YouTube comments below, and you can do the same and get your own shirt. So this time around, I want to know 3 guns that Arnold Schwarzenegger acquired at the gun store in Terminator 1, and it's a 2-part question, the one weapon that they didn't have in stock. I believe the clerk said, hey, just what you see, pal, because they didn't have one. So 3 guns and the bonus one gets you a shirt. Comment below. Make sure you do the real permanent YouTube comments, not the live stream comments, because those disappear forever. So, yeah, do it.
Do it. Mm-hmm. And that'll do it for this podcast.
Do it.
So don't forget to hit the like button, comment, share, subscribe.
Prescribe.
And don't forget to visit all the links down in the description. We got tons of stuff down there. And also, again, shout out to Vortex for sending us this cool stuff to review for you guys. Stay tuned for those videos.
They're coming up.
And with that, we'll see ya.
Yeah. See ya.
Yeah. See ya.